pick a time, any day is fine. Pack a bag, say adieu, let's sail off, me and you, on another adventure.
Well, most people sell their house and everything they own stateside to go out to the Caribbean and get a boat and live the sailor life. And we did it a little different. We sold our boats in the Caribbean and went to cold stateside California and got tritium, and here we are. But I know that leaves a lot of questions unanswered in the past, and the channel's never gonna be a weekly episode, the Holly soap opera. That's not what this is about. In fact, the whole point of the channel is to not watch the box, to not watch the television, to get out and to live your own life. So if I'm not making episodes, you're welcome. With that being said, when I have informational stuff, I love to share that. And that's why I do this, to give you informational footage that will hopefully help in some way. And that's what this channel's about. That's what it's going to stay about. But we are doing something now with this boat that's very fun, very different. And I want to share as much of that as I can with you. So to get to the big elephant in the room and what happened with SandBox and why did the videos really stop, because the answer is they had to. The videos had to stop, and that kind of is mixed up with the other big question of what's salvage law? How does salvage work? How do I salvage a boat? Well, I can't answer that. It's not black and white. Nothing in the world is black and white, but salvage is a complicated, fickle animal, and it has a lot to do with the territories. With SandBox, there was, salvaged in Puerto Rico, it was stolen from the Grenadines, it was registered in Germany. It was so, I can't even begin to give all that directional, really. Fact of the matter is, there is a base principle of salvage law in maritime law, and you start there and then you work with the jurisdictions and where you're at physically, and you're gonna have to, that's a case-by-case scenario. With SandBox, when we made the renaming ceremony, we had for 8.5 months fought to get a registration, which gave us a legality to move the vessel. We could move the vessel legally, we could motor around, we could start traveling, and we wanted to obviously build a home there, because at that point in time we still did not have another adventure back, and we'll get to that eventually. So when we started making episodes about the salvage, that was great, that was fine, because the best thing you can do to support that you have salvaged a vessel is to make it as public as possible. Put it in newspapers, make videos, record footage, take any documentation you can and make it as public as possible. That is one of the biggest things. So all of that was fine. All of those videos were great to be able to share. Where things got tricky was when we started making the first episode, Static Electricity, and our legal representative and lawyers saw, that new footage, and we got the and this is the short and sweet of what that looked like. Is maritime law has a statute of limitations like anything else, and the statute of limitations is 2 years. So for 2 years we could have been challenged on taking legal ownership of SandBox, which we never got until 2.5 years later. We had the registration, we could move the boat, we had a legality of the boat, but in order for all of that salvage to follow through, there's a time frame, and you have to wait out the entire time frame. You have to keep that whatever boat stable and safe, and so that's what we did. And if we had made it look like SandBox became a nice boat, because she did, we worked very hard, we dumped our all into the boat, and I'll show you some photos here. But at any point, a 1.5 years later, when SandBox was starting to become a whole boat again, then the previous owner, who couldn't keep his agreement, could have come back, fought us, and took everything from us. Therefore, we couldn't make videos and we couldn't even really publicize why we weren't making videos, and that is the answer. That's all I can give to you. There's unfortunately, it was what it was, and for us to maintain what we had worked so hard for, it had to be done. Not to mention, some of you are aware of what it takes to maintain even a boat in adequate working order. I don't think a lot of people took into account how much extra time it took to make repairs on SandBox and to continue fighting the legal battle of SandBox and Another Adventure. We eventually did get Another Adventure back. Again, that put us in a position where we had 99 feet of problems, a boat being 2, one of which was drug off a beach a year prior. The other was abandoned in a horrible country, and I hate to say that because the people of that little country are some of the most beautiful people I've ever met in all the Caribbean. But the rest of it's a force to be reckoned with. I don't recommend ever going there for any reason. Everybody in the aftermath of that really took a lot of advantage. The boatyard literally charged us interest on our storage, and it was awful. So we were putting SandBox together. We were still pursuing legality on SandBox. We got Another Adventure back without a rudder because I took the rudder apart. So getting Another Adventure back became a whole fickle battle all in itself. I had to find somebody to go into the country for me, bring the boat out. I had disassembled the engine, I had pieces of the rigging disassembled, I had the rudder completely broken open and separated apart, and a brand new beautiful all stainless post and everything made for it. It was going to be beautiful. And a great friend of mine, Travis Croft, who has been in a lot of my episodes previously, I think Operation Ridiculous, he did a lot of the videoing and recording for, and he does wonderful filmography. He is just so great behind the camera. Him and his girlfriend Ashley are now doing YouTube episodes. I'm going to put a link down in the comments because, I mean, this guy, you can learn a lot from this guy. He's awesome. He's a great friend of mine, and he went to the tea place and slapped a bunch of fiberglass onto this rudder post that I had machined and brought Another Adventure 500 miles north in barely assembled condition. Really just did a lot. So if you want some extra footage, check out his YouTube episodes and channel. I'll put that in the comments. We did strip off all of that fiberglass and salvage that brand new beautiful rudder post and what was left of the skins. We made new molds for the rudder. After bonding not one but both sides of the skin to the post, we filled it with foam, fared everything smooth as a baby's bottom. Then, of course, topped it off with some barrier coat, fresh bottom paint, a nice seal around the collar, and fit it back in Another Adventure, snug as a bug in a rug. But the big, short and sweet, so we could make footage. It wasn't an option. And I'm never going to guarantee footage, but I promise you I'm going to show some good stuff when we got it. We've got a lot of really incredible fabrications, starting with the anchor stuff. We still need to install the windlass that came a few months after that episode that I put out last. So we're going to get to that. We have installed all the water systems. James has built LiFePO4 lithium batteries from cells. He's got some great footage of all that. He's going to show you how DIYers who want to put together these lithium cells. He's got a ton of water maker footage he's working on. We're very fond of the Clark pump system. And so he's going to be working on that. He's going to be getting out some of his own footage to be a part of this. The poor thing is still putting up with me. It's not an easy job, as I'm sure you guys can all imagine. So what made us decide to go from all of that to all of this? So when we finally got Another Adventure back, and we built a new rudder for it, and we had SandBox, and we were kind of at a disagreement of which boat to keep. I wanted to keep Another Adventure because that's my baby, my pride and joy. That's what I put all my love into. New keel bolts, new rigging, new rudder. I mean, just cream puff bones with some character on the outside. It's great Caribbean anti-theft. And James really wanted to keep SandBox. And so we both kind of dug our feet into the ground a little bit. And for a little while, James was running SandBox and I was running Another Adventure. And we both had this interest in getting a boat like Tritium. And so we eventually, in the boatyard, randomly one year down in Grenada, we saw Tritium, we started this conversation, we started this thing, and then I made some phone calls. I had a deposit on Another Adventure within a few days, and the rest is history. And now, for your viewing pleasures, a montage through the years of hiatus.
Jumping in, grab a line. The water's feeling fine. Catch a fish, maybe two. Let's sail off, me and you, on another adventure. On another adventure. Let's sail off, me and you, on another adventure.